In this video, we are gonna have a look how we can create documentary style video, something like this. Let's straight dive into this topic without wasting a single second. Let me show you what we are gonna create in this video. I mean what you are able to do at the end of this video.
In 1906, San Francisco was struck by an earthquake measuring 7.9 in magnitude. The earthquake was the biggest recorded at the time, devastating much of the city and leaving more than 300,000 people homeless. 8mm footage from the time shows the extent of the destruction of the main central street. This map shows how a great fire broke out and covered what area remained, quickly spreading out to the boundary areas.
The first thing I want to do here is I am just right-click and then new composition. Here all the setting I am using here and then hit press OK. Now I have a new composition. For the first section, I need to have satellite images of the San Francisco. And one thing, you can download all the assets in the description. You can easily practice along this tutorial. Now I have this picture and click and drag here. And now I am listening the voiceover. So it talks about 1906. For that I need to have the text. Click here and then write a text. You can adjust the font, like all the properties of the font. For the animation, I simply use the typewriter effect. Go to effect and preset, animation preset, then text, and then animation in. Here is the typewriter effect. Simply click and drag onto this and then press U to reveal the keyframe. So I get that text typing on like this. Now the next, I want to bring the next layer, like the next picture. So I am just gonna skip this, the second picture, and move toward next, like this is the third picture, and then click and drag above. It's the rough cut. I'm gonna select both of those, okay. Also want to line up this playhead like here, where I need to split both of these layers because I don't need to have these two layers next. So simply select both, then here is edit and then split layer, okay. After that we are going to delete these both two. I am moving across maybe like here and pasting this picture, the next picture. We just get a straight cut like here. To make it look like the camera lens is changing, I am going to getting the blur effect. So what I did, I just came up here into my panel here, okay, and then select the pen tool, and after that I am going to adjust. I am going to draw something, shape some to the lens that I need to have. Now for this one I need to have fill, but I don't need stroke like this. It's just represent the lens, that doesn't need to be perfect. I am just drawing these lines in the middle. And then the best thing is you can change each and every point according to your need. As you want, you can change. For me, this setting is fine. We add, okay, this one, this shape layer is here, that is something like blur. I can rename this blur. I need to add the blur effect here. Simply go to effect. Under the blur setting, here is the Gaussian blur. Simply click and drag into this layer, okay. So here the blurriness, I am just scaling this right up here. And what I can do is I can even scale up this layer, okay, and then add blur, or I can back into my pen layer and adjust the layer as I want, okay. We have really dark pattern like this, okay. I want to try and get this layer somewhere over the top of this text layer, like here is fine, the transition point, and then again split that layer. Simply line up your this playhead and then edit, split layer, and then press delete. So for that, what I'm going to do, simply click here and the position, like I need to have this out of the frame. Simply press P, like out of my composition, and then hit P, and it's drag here and another keyframe like here, and then drag up here. So now you see it's a simple little transition. so you can adjust. Okay, so you can adjust its speed, even you can speed up or slow down by playing these two keyframe. Okay, now simply select both and then right click keyframe assistant, then easy ease. So we get that sort of transition or something that look like this, right? Like do it whatever you prefer, speed up, speed down. So after that I simply right click, then new, and then adjustment layer. Here is the again Gaussian blur layer. So for that simply click here and then add the Gaussian blur here as well, and then I drag, finally align the layer to the blur layer that I already created. For speed again edit and then speed the layer, press delete to delete this layer. I want to line this up like nicely. Here is good. So after that I need to add the keyframe, the first keyframe here, then press U to reveal the keyframe, and after that here and in the middle like here I need to add the blurriness. So I think this one is fine. Now you have like this blur effect, so maybe you have a rough edge, like if I click here then you see. Okay, so I need to click here repeat edge pixel, so it's pretty much good. Make sure to tick this repeat edge pixel as well. Now we have a pretty much good animation, so for that we can adjust like this and then simply drag all, right click keyframe assistant and then easy ease. Okay, we are good to go. Like we have a nice sort of transition, that is lens changing, the camera lens changing or something like that, and you can adjust like here. Okay, when it's passing by the camera, if you want more or less this effect, so I can also hit T in the blur layer and then drag the opacity like little bit. This here is good for me. Now we have a nice shape of transition. I simply duplicate both two layer and press Ctrl D and then align it here. Okay, so we have a very much good effect like the transition. I now want to create a controller that we can control the whole animation. I am just gonna right click and then new, here is null, then we can rename it as controller. So it's control all of our layers. Simply select all and then here is the pick whip tool and then all. This one is our first controller. You can name it as controller 1 because we are going to have another controller in this video to control and other layers, like the other set of layers. So it's important to rename each and everything to track what's going to happen on this timeline. Here at this point, it doesn't matter if you are zoom in or out, that I can create a scale keyframe. Like here is the scale, press S and then here I press scale keyframe, and across the 6 second like here I create another scale keyframe and I can create a little bit of a zoom in effect. So we have got that zooming into the camera, so it's transitioning through. Now once we are get to the third image, I want to create some new text, like let me show you first. Now we have this something like the zooming effect. As you see, I am just going to duplicate this layer, Control D and then above here and pasted this text. Okay, this is already pre-animated and we have got that next part is I want to create a line. For this text layer I simply click and drag like a little bit more, select the pen tool and then create the line, and then we can create a little bit fine shape of circle. We are going to use stroke effect because we create the mask. The stroke effect, simply click here and then press stroke and then do drag here. Now we have a pretty much good animation. Okay, we can adjust the stroke size. If I hit here the toggle mask and shape path visibility like turned off, now we see here, you see. Okay, Control Z, like this one is fine and brush hardness is 100% like here. And after that like I need to add the keyframe. To add the end keyframe, simply click here then press U to reveal that keyframe. So we can add the keyframe after the text animation done, like here, and then after some more frame to add another keyframe like here, and then add 100%. So I go to the first keyframe and then add the value of 0. Now we have a little sort of good animation. We can adjust each and every point. This is the beauty of pen tool. I adjusted each and everything that I need to have, like that I love to have, for this line animation, as you see. Now for the next part, I need to have like those rings come out from this part. One way to do this is just to create some shapes and then change the blending mode to make them sit over the top. I didn't want the rings to affect the water, so I thought it was more interesting if they are only affecting the land. So the way we are going to do in this particular example, this is a little bit of different. I first grab my background layer and duplicate that, this one, Control D, and then click here and just draw out a circle. The mask, press here to select this ellipse mask and then drag a little bit up. So I think this one is fine. Simply select that we have the mask. Press the solo button. Now we have this kind of mask. So for remove this water, because I don't want to affect the color at the bottom, for that I simply click here and then drag the key light effect. Simply click and drag onto this layer and then remove this color. Now we have this. Okay, I'm pretty much good. We'll adjust. This one is fine, and after that I need to have tint effect, okay, over on this layer. Simply select and drag, and now I need to select the color, like this one is good. And now if I hit this, and then we have, okay, and for the white again I change the color, like this one is good to go for me, and then press hit OK. So to animating for that, what I need to do, simply I need to add the keyframe, add the mask expansion, click here, then mask, and then here is the mask expansion. Move towards some frame next and then add another keyframe like here. Now back toward my first keyframe, add the expansion is 0, like the -0. Here is good. Select both keyframe assistant easy ease to speed up. Now we have this sort of animation like the circle ring. What we can do, we simply click here and then little bit expand to cover this area as well. So here you see it's expanding and it's covered the other area as well. Okay, to simply near, just click and drag to speed up this animation. And after that, what I need to do, I need to have another layer. Let me rename this red, and after that I simply Control D, like duplicate this layer, start next animation from here, and select both keyframe, start our next ring from here. You need to align with your voiceover. Select the last keyframe and add the mask expansion, like here is good. You can change the color, like this one is good, and then here press here, like for the white, simply click here and then press OK. Click and drag this orange layer up below the red layer. Now we have this sort of animation, like let me play and you see. And in the same way you can add another ring. Simply duplicate this red layer and rename the orange, and then duplicate, Control D, below the orange layer, like you can name it any. Here one is yellow. Simply change the color and keyframe setting, like we need to start this ring after here, and then select the last keyframe and add the mask expansion little bit more. Then click here black to change the color, any color you want, like for this one is good. and press OK for the red area. You can adjust this one, and now we have this type of animation that's showing the earthquake, like the damaged area. We have 3 circle that is just affecting. You can expand a little bit more according to your need, but this time this setting is good for me. And now for the shaking effect, that is little bit of shake, but I need to do simply click here controller, press P for position, alt and click the stopwatch, and then here I need to add the wiggle expression 1, and then press enter. And what it's did, it's create a wiggle expression for the whole thing, and I don't want this wiggle expression on the whole way. So I only want the expression like at this point where is the earthquake actually happening, like we need to show. We can isolate that by using the card and expression slider. Simply click here and search for slider. Okay, here is the slider control, then click here. So what I need to do, click here, like select this second one, okay, the one. I need to this pick whip tool and parent to this slider, not this main. Okay, click here the pick whip tool, and now we have this expression like the slider expression. And what this do, I can control the second number by this slider. When I get to this, like say here this position, like here I need to have the shake effect, like little bit of earthquake effect. Simply click here, then add the slider keyframe, press 1. For reveal the keyframe, press U, and after some keyframe like here, okay, I'm going to add this one is 34. After some frame here I need to again add like fade out that effect, this shaky effect, need to add the 1. Now we have just effect on our selected point, as you see. Okay, keyframe assistant and then easy ease. And now we have the shaky effect, as you see when this appear. So we will adjust the orange layer, press U and then show. Okay, once it's moved like the shake and then they spread. Now our second part is done. So this is just an overview, like you can say it's the rough animation, like I do all the things is quickly to show you how you can do something similar. Like at this point we have completed our first section. Now the next part we are going to be use the photo and videos. I'm going to add my next image here. Simply click here and then like here I add the image 1. So press S and then scale it up to cover the whole screen, like this one is fine. And after that I need to drag my other image. Okay, we have some sort of like rough cut, that is the straight cut, as you see. We can reposition each and every layer and then under our controller, and then on the controller press U. So I need to have the zoom in effect, like little bit of scaling, and I have here a little bit of zoom. Okay, good. Now I need to select both four, and I need to select all, and then here is the little pick wheel, and we can parent with our controller. Now we have this little sort of animation like this. Select both, right click, then keyframe assistant, and then easy ease. Okay, so the other thing what we can do, select both, then here is the graph editor, and now we can have this, like this is a little sort of good transition or the scale up animation, as you see. Okay, now this one is good. And after that so now after that it's just the matter of the timing, like you can adjust each and every layer and reposition according to the voiceover, and adjust the layer according to the result you want. Okay, the other thing I do, like at this point I need to add the position keyframe for the controller. Press P and then add the position P, and at this point, okay, like here I add another position keyframe like here, and then I add this one. Now you see, so you can even drag like for the speed up and speed down as well. Like now we have this sort of good animation, like sort of good movement. And after that I simply need to have the text. So I already have the pre-animated text, that is this one. Control D and then select and add above of the layer, okay, and simply press add the value, that is the voiceover share. You just need to play with the keyframe. Now I need to have a little bit this pen effect, okay, I can adjust here. Now I have a good pen effect. For speed up the text animation, simply click here, then drag here, select both, and then easy ease. Our first animation is done, like the first section is done. So for that I need to split all the layer, okay. Simply click here, then edit, split layer, and then delete. For the next section, I wanted to bring my this vintage footage into my composition. So for that, I need to start from here because our first controller is done. Like we adjusted our first controller. Now for the next layer, I need to have next controller, like a new controller that control our next layers, all of the next layer. So for that, drop that here on top, okay, like here. And after that, you could make this as a full screen. This is quite low quality because it's 8mm footage. So I thought to give it a more interesting look. So for that, what did I was do to adding that film effect? Simply like I adjust him here and then right click, new, solid. Now we have a black color solid. Like after that you need to select the rounded rectangle mask tool by selecting this black solid, okay, to give it the shape. And then now we have this mask, okay, and then I need to have turn on this layer as you see, and after that I clicked here, invert it, and then basically I have got this black cover on a film that sits over the top of that footage as you see like here, and then I can rename it 8mm footage cover, and then with that selected 8mm cover I duplicate it as you see, and then drag underneath our 8mm cover and then rename it any color you need to give it. Like this time I am going to add red. Simply add effect and preset, okay, and then as you see edit, and after that another effect that we are going to add, that is Gaussian blur. So you simply search for Gaussian blur and then add. Now I added the fill and Gaussian blur. So after that under the Gaussian blur there is a blurriness, so you need to increase the blurriness. As I increased, like I think so 14 is pretty much good to go. And we have a red corner as you see, okay, and after that I need to give it another color, or if I want this is flicker around the edges. So for that we need to add the opacity expression, like wiggle expression on the opacity. So first of all, let me give it the expression, like press T for the flickering effect. Once I press T, then I have opacity. Simply press Alt and then click here. We have this expression window open. Simply write wiggle 2,100 and then press OK. We have the flickering as you see. Let me play. Is flickering, like can duplicate this and underneath the red layer. Simply rename this one. I am going to add yellow color. So for that, click here and then change the color toward yellow. And now we have, and once I play it, so you see there is prickling effect, both color, that is red and yellow. And the other thing I can do here, like to control this all of 3 layer, like 4 layer, simply click here, right click here, and then add a new null object to control all of this layer. So for that, I simply right click and then new. After that, select all of 4 layer, okay, and then add the controller tool. Now we need to adjust, like let drag to here, okay. And after that, I need to add the L keyframe. Simply add S into my keyboard, and then from here, like I need to add the scale keyframe. And after some frame like here, I need to add another scale, and then I'm going to add here a little bit of movement, like this is good. And now you see we have a good backward effect. After that, I need to go 1 frame backward, okay, like select all, and then here is 1 frame, and need to add another keyframe, that is scale, okay. And I can create a position there at that point. Also line with my next, like let me add the position keyframe, like here I add it, and after that press U to reveal all the keyframe, and then line up with the next, like here, and add the position. Now back toward the first keyframe, this one, and adjust the position where you need to have this. So now you see, it's kind of jumping all over the place. And something it would be a common to get a film, like the part of film, where it would be some kind of jump or mess up. So I try to replicate that for this video. Another thing you can also do over the top, just add a bit more effect. Like for this one, okay. Duplicate this, the blur, and then this adjustment layer, control D, and then drag above all of the layer, like here. This here is good. Line up here, okay. Once it's as you see, I grab of these like the blend lens layer from earlier that I already created, just duplicate and paste it above here, like on this people where it's changing the position. So it's something sort of transition, as you see. One thing you can also do at the start, you can add the scale keyframe and very slightly scale effect, as you see. And after that, our this section is almost done, like as you see, jumping effect. And then you can speed then all of the layer. To organize our timeline, I deleted all these layer, okay. You should need to listen your voiceover. But if you notice, I also cut this controller layer because I am going to add a new controller for this next map layer. For that, let me drag this my map into my project, okay, and then line up perfectly and where I need to have, okay. And after that, I need to have a new null that control this map create null option. Now you can give it a controller 3 as well. Need to add scale position, okay, and position keyframe as well. Scale frame and then position frame as well. Simply press U to reveal all the keyframe. And after that, I need to isolate this point or like this part. So for that, I simply duplicate the layer. And after that, what I can do, simply duplicate this layer to isolate this part, okay, this the red area part. For that, I simply duplicate this layer and then select the pen tool, create the line like the mask. So let me add, okay. Okay, now we have this isolated part, and after that you can adjust each and every part of this mask Once I created the mask layer, simply select this mask and then we need invert, okay? And after that, we need to add blue and saturation on this part. Simply add blue and saturation, okay? Simply add the keyframe light here, and after sun keyframe where we need to have the darken area, adjust the lightness like here. This one is good. I can always go through and refine these marks by selecting span tool and adjust each and every point. But now for this time, you see, we have this darker effect. If I press U to release the key step, so you can add like this movement by adjusting the keyframe. Now we have this little isolated part into our map. And next, the voiceover talk about spreading out to the boundaries. I wanted to create another mask. So with the same layer selected, I now drawing the mask which kind of follow the edge. I am doing this really quickly. So now I quickly add this mask path, and after that, and I have now go to mask. I need to subtract the second mask into the first mask. Like I subtracted this mask. The reason behind is as I drag up and down on this mask to like the expansion keyframe, so it's going to happen only on the second mask, not happen on first mask. So that's why we subtracted this. I hope it's made sense and you understand my point. And after that, what we are going to do here, and once our voice is done, like for example, you should listen your voice over. And for example, the voice started like spreading around the boundary start here. Simply click here the mask expansion tool, and after some keyframe, for example here, you need to add another keyframe. Of course, you need to go like align up with your voiceover, but this time I just give you an idea how you can do similar. Now I need to scale down, like here is good. And once our voice start about spreading boundaries, for that we're going to have this type of animation. We have this mask animation. It's talking about something isolated. So for that, here is the isolated, and after that it's quickly spread. Yes, you need to go with your voiceover. All you have all the control with the help of keyframe, and you can do the easy ease as well. So now it's to expand the original point. Here you see, okay. Now we have this beautiful animation. And you can always go through and refine those masks. And the other two, like if I need to do here under the controller, press U, like here, I can add the scale, okay, the recipe film, like the freeze film, and after that from here to here, I need to add a position that is a little bit of moving scale up. So that's all for this video. I covered each and everything, like how you can create documentary style video. I hope you like this video. If you're not subscribed to this channel yet, please make sure to subscribe and comment below if you have any question or anything you want to ask. Just comment, and all the session in the description, make sure to follow. Thank you.